One woman's idea ended a century of soggy nights for parents. Marion Donovan, a determined inventor and mother, turned a shower curtain and a pile of napkins into the first practical waterproof diaper cover, solving leaks, rashes, and endless laundry. Watch to find out how a household hack became a patented product, why manufacturers ignored her at first, and how her breakthroughs paved the way for the disposable diapers we take for granted today. You'll see the clever materials she used, the legal and business battles she fought, and the surprising ways her designs still shape baby care. On-screen text. No major films have been made about Marion Donovan. If you've ever wondered who gave parents back their nights, stay tuned, this is her untold story. 1. The nightmare. In the 1940s, mothers struggled with cloth diapers that were messy, leaking, and required constant washing. Mothers in post-war households faced a daily domestic crisis that most modern parents can scarcely imagine: cloth diapers that absorbed, leaked, and demanded relentless attention. Thick, folded squares of cotton or flannel soaked up messes but did little to keep babies dry. The fabric would sag and pull, allowing urine and stool to escape onto clothing and bedding. Night times were especially brutal. Mattresses and sheets often needed changing in the middle of the night, and the cycle of stripping, washing, boiling, rinsing, and sun-drying linens became a task that dominated a family's routine. The practical consequences reached beyond inconvenience. Repeated exposure to damp fabric led to frequent diaper rash and skin irritation, and the ubiquitous safety pin, used to secure diapers, introduced its own hazards: pricks, popped pins, and the constant fear of a wiggling infant causing an accident. Laundry supplies and water were consumed in large quantities. The time cost was not merely physical labor but lost hours that could have been spent resting or working. Socially, outings were complicated by the need to carry multiple folded diapers and spare clothing, and evenings away from home became a logistical challenge for even the most determined parents. Faced with these problems, Marion Donovan responded with pragmatic ingenuity. She experimented at home, cutting and stitching household materials to create a practical barrier between the wet cloth and the baby's clothes and bedding. Using a length of shower curtain material as a waterproof outer layer, she fashioned a reusable cover that fit over the cloth diaper, stopping leaks before they could spread. She replaced dangerous pins with a more secure fastener system so changes were faster and safer, and the cover itself could be wiped clean or rinsed rather than boiled with every use. The result was a simple but transformative intervention. Cloth diapers could still be reused for absorbency, while the outer shell prevented the mess that had made diapering so onerous. That patchwork solution integrated smoothly into busy household routines, cutting down the frequency of full laundering cycles and limiting bedding changes. Parents could change a baby and be confident that a short nap or an entire night would be less likely to end in soaked sheets. In practical terms, less time was spent at the wash line, fewer materials were ruined, and both infant comfort and parental peace of mind improved. For many families, the innovation bridged the gap between existing cloth systems and newer ideas about convenience, paving the way for broader shifts in how infant care was managed. Video text. No major feature film biopic focused solely on Marion Donovan has been released. She is most often featured in documentaries and historical segments that celebrate unsung inventors. 2. The Invention. Marion cut down her shower curtain and used a sewing machine to create the first waterproof diaper cover. Cloth diapers soaked through easily, and the routine of changing babies meant laundry and midnight bedding swaps for many families. Pins could tear fabric and cause pricks. Existing rubber solutions were stiff, noisy, and uncomfortable. Practical problems demanded a simple fix that ordinary household materials could provide. Marion Donovan took a shower curtain, laid out a pattern, and cut it down into the shape she needed. Then she fed the slick material under a sewing machine and stitched a waterproof cover that slipped over a cloth diaper. The result was a custom-fit outer layer that stopped leaks at the source. It looked simple. It worked even better. She reinforced seams and edges so the thin material wouldn't rip, and she tailored the fit around the legs and waist to limit seepage. By combining the vinyl-like shower curtain with careful sewing, she created a lightweight, washable barrier that kept cotton diapers dry for longer and spared caregivers frequent linen changes. In practice, it meant fewer soaked outfits, less midnight panic, and a quieter, more comfortable baby. Mothers could change a diaper faster, and the cover could be wiped clean between uses instead of being laundered like the inner cloth every time. This DIY breakthrough showed how everyday materials and a little ingenuity could solve a persistent household problem, and it directly informed how designers and manufacturers thought about waterproofing and fit afterward. Try the same mindset today: look for overlooked materials, test a small prototype, and refine the fit. Support inventive solutions and the people who create them. Consider sharing this story, trying a simple sewing project, or backing female inventors who turn household frustration into practical change. 3. The rejection. She pitched the idea to major manufacturers, but male investors laughed and asked, "Why buy what you can wash?" Marion Donovan's pitch meetings began with a simple demonstration: a waterproof cover she had fashioned from a shower curtain that kept leaks off the baby and out of the crib. She showed practical proof of a problem millions of parents face daily. And yet, when she took that prototype into boardrooms run almost exclusively by men, the reception was dismissive and often outright mocking. Investors and product executives repeatedly asked why anyone would pay for something that could simply be washed, a question that boiled down to a refusal to see convenience as a marketable commodity. The underlying bias was as tangible as the smell of starch in a laundry room. Many of those men assumed housewives would prefer to launder diapers forever rather than spend money for ease. They treated domestic labor as immutable and invisible, not as a pain point worth solving with a new product. Donovan encountered comments that reflected a broader cultural blind spot. Because women did the washing, the reasoning went, there was no consumer demand for a disposable or protective alternative. That dismissive attitude left her no choice but to prove the market herself. She refused to cede the field to skepticism. Rather than abandon the idea, she secured patents for her innovations and moved into production on her own terms, demonstrating that convenience did have value and that women would pay for it. Sales and consumer feedback spoke where male boardrooms had refused to listen. When parents saw how much time and worry a waterproof solution could save, the marketplace began to rewrite the assumptions. Her success forced manufacturers to look again, and slowly the industry had to acknowledge a real demand they had once laughed off. This episode remains a clear lesson in how bias can stall useful inventions and how tenacity and direct engagement with consumers can overturn that resistance. Look up her patents and read the contemporary coverage to see how she navigated the rejection and built a market from skepticism. Share her story, support female inventors, and remember the line that cost her early respect but ultimately highlighted an important truth: practical problems experienced in the home can be the seed of major innovation. Video text. No major feature films have been released about Marion Donovan as of 2024. 4. The hustle. Undeterred, she manufactured the boater herself and successfully launched it at Saks Fifth Avenue. Babies soaked through cloth diapers and parents wrestled with pins and constant laundering. Marion Donovan saw the problem in stark, practical terms and wanted a cleaner, faster way. When manufacturers dismissed the idea as unnecessary or impractical, she refused to wait for someone else to solve it. She repurposed a shower curtain into a waterproof shell, fitted it with fasteners to replace safety pins, and called the finished product the boater. She made the first boaters by hand, cutting and stitching each piece herself and installing snap-style closures that kept leaks at bay. Small adjustments mattered. She folded seams to prevent chafing, trimmed curves so the cover fit over bulky cloth diapers, and tested fit and movement on real babies until leaks stopped. Early versions were assembled in her own workspace, with meticulous attention to materials and durability because retail buyers would expect professional finish and consistent sizing. Having been turned away by established diaper manufacturers, she took a different route and approached department store buyers directly. Her pitch was simple and demonstration-driven: show the cover, show a dry cloth beneath, and let practicality do the convincing. That hands-on approach paid off when Saks Fifth Avenue accepted the boater for sale, giving the product a prestigious launch point and immediate visibility among consumers willing to buy something better for their infants. Once stocked at Saks, she scaled production herself enough to fill orders while maintaining quality. She managed sourcing, oversaw assembly, packaged pieces attractively for display, and handled the logistics of shipping to a major retailer. That grassroots manufacturing and direct retail placement proved the market existed. It turned initial skepticism into demand and set the stage for wider adoption. There are no major Hollywood biopics of her life to date, though her story appears in documentaries and museum exhibits that celebrate inventors and women innovators. Learn more about her patents and archived interviews, support organizations preserving women's invention histories, and consider sharing her example. The hands-on hustle of turning a single clever prototype into a product trusted by shoppers is a model worth copying. 5. The evolution. She sold her company for $1 million and later developed the concept of fully disposable paper diapers. After turning a simple waterproof diaper cover into a viable product and business, Marion Donovan sold her company for $1 million, a sum that both validated her invention and gave her the freedom to push ideas further. Parents had long been burdened by constant washing and soaking of cloth diapers. That market signal made her initial product a breakthrough. With the cash and credibility from the sale, Donovan shifted from improving covers to rethinking the diaper as a single-use item rather than a multi-step system. She then developed the concept of a fully disposable paper diaper, treating absorbency, containment, and convenience as parts of one integrated solution. Rather than merely adding a waterproof outer layer to cloth, her approach separated the disposable's function, an inner absorbent core made from layered paper-like materials, a snug, leak-resistant fit, and an outer element focused on containment and comfort. Prototypes aimed to reduce handling and laundering for caregivers and to cut down on skin irritation caused by prolonged dampness. Practical tests and household trials emphasized ease of change and straightforward disposal, framing disposables as a radical time saver. Convincing manufacturers and retailers to back a new category required persistence. Donovan navigated skepticism from companies invested in traditional cloth systems and from consumers unsure about waste and cost. She leveraged the sale proceeds and her patents to refine prototypes, create working samples, and demonstrate market demand through direct consumer feedback. Examples from early adopters showed noticeably fewer laundry cycles and quicker diaper changes, which helped retailers understand convenience-based consumer behavior and paved the way for larger-scale production. Today, her move to sell the company and then pursue the disposable paper concept is seen as a pivotal pivot from invention to industry transformation. The decision freed her to iterate on the idea that diapers could be single-use products designed around human convenience rather than household maintenance. If you want to explore her legacy further, read detailed biographies and patent archives, support archives that preserve inventors' stories, and consider how modern diaper design can balance convenience with sustainability, a conversation Donovan's work helped make possible. 6. The impact. Her patents laid the groundwork for Pampers, changing parenting forever despite the initial skepticism of the industry. Parents once spent hours rinsing, boiling, and mending cloth diapers, a labor-intensive routine that dominated childcare. Marion Donovan's patents introduced practical answers by formalizing a waterproof outer shell and the concept of disposable absorbent liners, innovations that fed directly into the disposable diaper industry. Her designs addressed leaks with snap closures and a washable, waterproof layer that cut down on constant laundering. Those technical advances, simple in description but powerful in consequence, became building blocks for companies developing mass-produced disposable diapers. Industry insiders did not rush to embrace the idea. Manufacturers worried about production costs, questioned whether consumers would adopt single-use products, and debated hygiene concerns. Yet Donovan's patents provided concrete prototypes and manufacturing concepts that product teams could study and iterate on. Practical elements from her work, waterproof materials, secure fastenings, and replaceable absorbent pads, showed how a commercially viable disposable system might be engineered, moving the conversation from theoretical to actionable. The ripple effects on everyday life were immediate and tangible. Parents gained hours back each week, overnight trips and travel with infants became less daunting, daycare centers and hospitals could adopt faster, more sanitary diapering routines. By serving as a technical foundation, Donovan's patents helped companies create the first widely distributed disposable diapers, products like Pampers that scaled the concept to millions of households. The result was a shift in parenting logistics, less time spent on laundry, fewer changes in routine, and more predictable childcare practices. At the same time, the market evolved. Manufacturers optimized absorbent materials, streamlined production, and developed targeted marketing that normalized disposables in family life. There are no widely released feature films dramatizing her life, although Donovan has been mentioned in documentaries and museum exhibits that highlight her role. Her legacy is now woven into both the commercial landscape and ongoing debates about sustainability. Disposable diapers transformed care but also created environmental questions that innovators and consumers continue to tackle. Celebrate the unseen inventors behind everyday conveniences, support education and policies that amplify female inventors, and when choosing diapers, weigh convenience against environmental impact. Consider biodegradable options, cloth hybrids, or responsible disposal programs to honor innovation while protecting the planet. Imagine changing a soggy, pin-studded cloth diaper at 2 a.m. The same struggle millions of parents faced until one determined woman decided enough was enough. Marion Donovan, born 1917, turned a shower curtain into the first practical waterproof diaper cover and kept going. She patented improvements, pushed for disposable liners, and refused to accept industry rejection. Her inventions cut down laundry, stopped leaks, and made baby care faster and less messy. Small comforts that changed daily life for families everywhere and paved the way for mass-market disposables like Pampers, introduced by Procter & Gamble in 1961. Key points: Marion Donovan's hands-on solutions solved a real problem. She turned prototype into patent and product despite setbacks. Her work directly influenced the evolution of modern diapers. She remains underrecognized in mainstream media. No major films have been made about Marion Donovan as of 2026. Video text: no major films about Marion Donovan as of 2026. If you've ever been grateful for a dry night or a quick diaper change, that's her legacy working in the background. Share your own family stories in the comments. Did your parents use homemade covers, or did you grow up with disposables? Hit like if this surprised you, subscribe for more short stories of forgotten innovators, and ring the bell so you don't miss our next episode, a deep dive into how Pampers and other companies turned disposable diapers into a global industry. More untold stories of brilliant women inventors are coming soon. See you in the next video.